Okay, Tony, part four. Loads of questions for you. Like I said, we got some juicy punting ones now. At 777 horse racing, we know Tony does not back favourites. So what is it he looks for in his bigger price selections? It's a multi-part question, but I'll ask them all.
Yeah.
Is he more profitable backing on the flat or national hunt? And when looking for a big price selection, is there a certain category of race that tends to produce big price winners?
Um, First part is very simple. If it's a bigger price than I think it should be, and by some margin, then I'll just back it. Being honest, I don't know my split and flat and jumps. I'm not as anal as some people keeping spreadsheets and stuff like that. I just keep a daily P&L record, stick it on my column, and people can work out for themselves. I might have a terrible strike rate in one or the other, but I seem to be profitable in both codes. And rightly or wrongly, my P&L is based around a lot of losers and a lot of big price winners. So that's the case. And what was the final part?
Is there a certain category of race that
almost exclusively big field handicaps? Yeah, that's when it's difficult saying this after Al Arzi, but these small field condition races, bookmakers are very, very unlikely to make a rick, are they? And when you've got big field handicaps, not only that, I mean, you've got a lot of history with big field handicaps. I mean, obviously Cheltenham Festival form obviously holds up in the handicaps, as does a lot of degree with the Royal Ascot form as well. So yeah, big field handicaps basically.
Okay, right. This is at Sudoku_Junior. Tony was very critical over TV tipsters with no accountability. However, is the Betfair tipping podcast not just the same? It's content without any accountability. If I was to look at the Betfair podcast tipping record, how would I find it? And are there any plans to include one?
Well, we've always had a daily, an updated naps. We do the naps at the end of the one on the Racing Only Better. We have been a bit lax for that. But no, up until a couple of months ago, we had kept a running record. So I think, to be honest with you, we should be doing that. We've always referenced it, so I think that's a bit of unfair criticism. TV tipsters, I wouldn't have a clue whether they're good or bad. So I think they are largely unaccountable. I would say that. Obviously, a lot of them tip a lot of horses as they're going in the stalls and stuff, so they can have a soundbite afterwards. But yeah, I think we're accountability. Obviously, I made a big point about the Racing Post, not publishing a P&L, so that's fine. I can only speak for myself. I do an updated P&L after every column. It's on the end of my column. I'm not one of these ones who hide behind no P&L or update it down the line. But I know people got different ways of doing stuff, but I like to think more than anybody else, well, as much as anybody else, that I'm fully transparent in how I'm doing, and my copy is a barometer of that anyway, because I do hold my hands up when I'm going badly.
Are you fully transparent with your favourite flavour of ice cream? Because Simon Cohen 14 would like to know.
Funny enough, I was chatting about this with one of my brothers actually. He said, "What's your favourite ice cream?" last week, and this bizarrely, and I said vanilla. He said, "Yeah, funny enough, so it's mine."
Right.
I used to like Raspberry Ripple in the old days, but yeah, vanilla.
Okay, well, that's a nice interlude because they look like they all want to give you a kick in here, Tone. So we'll crack straight on.
I
This
like
is
that.
Tommy Kennedy 93. Why is it so impossible for anyone tipping and betting publicly to accept that what works for them mightn't work for other people, or vice versa? I hear Tony dismissing people's methods, and then you hear him saying he takes no notice of jockey bookings. Amusing to me, but hey ho.
Because I'm an opinionated arsehole, probably, and if I've got an opinion, then I'm going to venture it. And if people don't disagree, then I don't see why people get upset about stuff like that. I mean, if I dislike the way that TV goes about tipping or covering betting or the Racing Post or any other, tipping outlet, then I'm going to say so. I don't care if they're my best mates. I don't care if people I don't respect. It's my opinion, and I'm assuming he thinks about the interview, talking about the interview or Twitter. Now, if we all went on there and all agreed and say, oh yeah, that's fine, then it'd be a very boring place. But it's actually getting too unusual now anyway, isn't it? So with the new X. But yeah, I mean, because I'm opinionated, can be an arsehole, but no, I'm 54 last week. This week, and I'm not last week actually, and I'm not going to change now. As regards other people's tipping methods, I think he's probably referring to Johnny Deneen there, what I said about him, about not mentioning any prices and changing his mind later on once he gets his card marked, etc. Not for me, but fine. If he makes that play, then great. But if I disagree with it, I'm quite happy to say so. And if I met him tomorrow or Saturday at Ascot, then I'd have a very, very polite conversation with him to say, look, I think it's horseshit what you do, but he probably thinks it's horseshit what I do, which is fine because it's only talking about racing and betting, isn't it? It's not life and death.
Okay, right. This is a word that comes around a lot. So, Brown Owl 1001. What is Tony's definition of the word value in racing? I hear the word bounded by a lot of pundits, but it seems to be on bigger priced horses. Surely value can be at any price if you think it's bigger than it should be.
Yeah, it can do. Yeah. But all I'm saying is I'm a very, very bad judge of what is value at a short price. My tipping record is absolutely appalling when I go low. When I say low, 3-1 or less. It's just not for me. Value is a indefinable concept, isn't it? It's basically when you're getting a bigger price than it goes off at. And quite often I'll tip horses that shorten and then driven wildly out. So, even though you've initially got a value price, it ends up being a horrendous price in the likes of Rainbow Dreamer on Saturday. Is probably a classic example. But, for all that, if I see a horse that was putting out 4 to 6, as laughable as it was about like Alazi, and I saw it available at 11 to 4 and continued to drift, I will back that horse. I will continue to back it because even though the 4 to 6 was a joke, it was probably more of a 2-1 chance, and I'm getting 11 to 4, 4 to 1, 9 to 2, and I'm going to back that. It doesn't matter, Certain people would say I'm not backing that horse because it's a drifter, but no, I work on the basis that the game's straight and they're all trying. So especially in those kind of races, so I'm happy to back at short prices at those instances because it was a hell of a lot shorter. If that
Right. Yeah. Here's one from my old mate, Bill Marsden 14. Bill, I think Bill's got me on tracker. Every time I post, he comes up saying a similar thing to this question. What does Tony think about bookmakers like Star Sports who give it the big un, but in reality won't even take a £50 dog bet online?
Well, I wouldn't lay a dog bet either, but yeah, of course, Star Sports, they made by their name about at the laying of big prices at the pitches. They make their money laying big prices, maybe a tad under the market price, and doing it in size. If that business works for them and the business works for the punter, presumably it works more for Star Sports than the punters doing it, then that's fine. But the reality is, I imagine on a day-to-day basis, Star Sports Racing don't want any clued-up business that are beating SP by a considerable margin, whether it be dogs, greyhounds, or whatever. So in that respect, Star Sports are probably no different on a daily basis than any other bookmaker who will limit money, limit smart money, limit money that is, like you say, beating the price.
Right. Okay. This is another fella. Follow the belly. He seems to have a bee in his bonnet about this particular subject I know absolutely nothing about. How much of a problem do you think Freemasonry is in horse racing? Do you think it'd be more transparent if people in racing had to declare that they were a Freemason or not?
I love that, actually. They're probably all the hierarchy are probably all Tories, but they never come out and say so these days. Do they? I don't know why that is. There's definitely a kind of like a racing clique of in the press room. Like I said, they tend to get all the BHA gigs and the JCR gigs and all the other kind of like juicy presenting gigs and stuff like that. So I suppose that is a form of Freemasonry. Yeah, there is a kind of like a well protected hierarchy in the press room, shall we say? Freemason. I like the Freemasonry angle. Yeah, I quite like that.
Right. So well, anyway, Andrea Heimer 7. We're going to get all these in this part, Tone.
Yeah.
So
Go on then. Well, I'll
Andrea
be quick.
Heimer 7. Has Mr. Calvin been subject to ridiculous affordability checks like I have with Betfair? I was a daily customer for 18 years when they imposed a max £100 monthly deposit limit on me. Why? Affordability checks have not even been mandated by the Gambling Commission yet.
Yep. Betfair have asked for it, even though obviously they know how I operate. The worst case one was Hills, when Hills asked for it. Shut the account, had a fair bit of money in there, tried to contact them. Unbelievably, they didn't have any phone number for you to ring. So there was just one email address. And it took me 9 days to get a response. As soon as I rang them up, they rang me. It took me 20 minutes to sort. I said, what do you want? I had everything ready. If they wanted it, mortgage details. I had my last year's company accounts. So I could email them everything they needed to know, current account balance and stuff like that. So yes, I have had it, and I'm quite willing to hand it over if I can continue to bet. So I know I might be in a minority, but I'm a very open book, and I'm not scared of my wife and partners like other people.
Right. Now then, this is quite a long one here. I don't know about this, but I'm sure it'll
Nor
make
do I
some
actually. I
sense.
haven't looked, but yeah, go on.
Make some sense to you. A Korak the goat wants to know.
Where the
Years
fuck
ago,
is this fucking moniker from?
Years ago, there was an infamous incident when a horse called Vola la Vedette.
Oh fuck.
Tony came on after the race to explain it was a glitch. Could you tell us the real truth and what happened to the chap whose account supposedly went into 23 million exposure?
Yeah.
Did he need counselling? And also, he says he's amazed that Betfair employees like you are allowed Betfair accounts. The inside info you must gain must be immense.
Well, I'll deal with the latter first. I don't get any inside info. I bet primarily, even though I got a sportsbook account, the vast majority of my bets on the exchange. Everyone can have an account there. Oh well, most people. And the man in question, I'm assuming it's the man because I never actually got. I got the broad brush what happened with Volodette. Basically, what happened? It was an Irish hurdle race where the horse was still available to back at 28-1 as it went past the line. There was no hint of it losing the race because it's caused trouble or stuff like that. And all hell broke loose on the Betfair forum at the time. It was literally, you could have backed it at 28-1. People were coming out there thinking, this is unbelievable. I'd want absolute fortunes because obviously they saw it and it was there. It was just like on the running, miles clear, boom, 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 boom. So, and it transpired that basically, and it went to IBAS and everything like that. And we gave all the details there. Like I said, I didn't have the details first off, but it was an account whereby something happened, whereby I think it was an in-running bot. I think it had a situation whereby the actual account had unlimited. Again, I've got to be careful what I say because I don't know. But the only inference would be it was an in-running bot that just blew up. And also they had unlimited. They seemed to have unlimited credit on that account. Now the idea that it was, Betfair were giving £30 million credit to somebody, or it's laughable at the time. But something went badly wrong, and it just exposed a glitch. They went to IBAS. They actually said everything about it, and IBAS ruled in favour of Betfair, just saying, look, because every bookmaker has a kind of like a get-out clause, a catch-all get-out clause, and they had that there. But at the time, oh God, it rumbled on for, and people still talk about it now, funny enough. Well, as your question says, but yeah, at the time, basically a horse that was pissing up was still available back at 28-1 as it went past the line, and filled their boots.
Right, this is the final question.
Back out again, but yeah.
I was a little bit reluctant to ask this one because the person in question, I've interviewed him, and I've always found him very, we've got on all right. So, but I thought, but these are questions for you. So I use your judgment now to answer it. So, Sam Hill 552-80442. tell us a story about the Dave Yates rumpus.
I don't know where it started actually. I was just getting okay with him, but he's one of these people. I mean, I don't particularly rate him as a horse judge or a journalist, and I've probably said so a few times on Twitter. Took the piss out of him a few times. We had a famous rumpus at Sandown when he came up to me and called me everything under the sun, which I quite like actually. He actually went up in my estimation when he came up to me to my face and said, "I think you're up." I love people like that. I love people like that. But like I said, I don't rate him as a journalist. How he gets jobs on as a pundit shift on RTV, I'll never know. But it's one of those things where I don't rate him. I said so. We had a fallout. Haven't spoken since. I don't think I've even seen him since. And it's fine. People fall out all the time. It's not the end of the world. There's a lot of people out there who despise each other in that press room, and you know as well as I do, but they just don't say it. It's because I've got a big mouth and, like I say, can be an arsehole on occasions. Then that all came out. But I'll always hold my hands up when I was wrong, when I'm wrong. But I don't think I was in that instance. I'm not a fan, and I said so. But that's probably nothing like the animosity that happened over a number of years between Dave Yates and Claude Duval in that press room. But it's just that Twitter's there. I'm a mouthy twat, and I said so. But look, not everyone gets on in racing. It's kind of like it's as simple as that.
Excellent. Well, that's brilliant, Tony. Thanks very much. I don't leave it on a negative note. You've got a grandchild's birthday party to go to today, so it all ends nice and smiley, doesn't it? But this really enjoyed that. Thanks very much. You got through 6 pages of questions there.
We did get them all in.
Got them all in, mate. Yeah, we've overrun the last part, but that's fine. It was going really good. So really appreciate you taking your time and doing 2 interviews. And I'll see you soon, I expect.
And I might be going to Ascot on Saturday, but the train strike might have hampered me a bit there. If I can get a lift, I might go. And you enjoy your daughter's birthday on Friday.
I will do. Thanks very much, Tom. Cheers.
Cheers, mate. Have a good day.